would you say if I said that I could bring them back?
I guess I'd say I never thought of that.
Well, alright, hold tight, you might wanna stand back because one small John is coming intact.
St. John forward, spitting out some more words, fully intact, jacked, ready to rap and attack. Small John on your lawn, living like a gnome, hit you with my lyrics like a bullet to your dome.
Tonight when he comes up here, he's either gonna kill or he's gonna suck. But there's no in between for Mr. John Forward.
Oh, well, I didn't know any of that.
Well, that's what I've been trying to say the whole time.
Hello and welcome to St. John Forward Radio. I'm your host, John Forward, and I've got a really fun show planned for you today. You're probably wondering, how can he be more fun than 2 weeks ago? Like, nothing's more fun than a white, straight, cis male talking about George Floyd's death for an hour, pontificating. That's what people want, but going to take a break from that for most of the show. I had my friends Arif, Hussain, and Godsoe come over the other night to watch 1989's seminal film Puppet Master. As you can see by my friends here, this is a film series that I hold dear in my heart. I've been watching them since I was a kid. I've got all these toys. My toy collection is disproportionately Puppet Master. I don't think I have anything else that I've got like 5 or 6 of. I also spent far too much money on this box set 20 years ago when they're practically giving them away now. But it just it makes me long for a day when I kind of wish that that tiny killer puppets was the biggest problem in the world right now. Maybe if the puppets took over for the police, then there'd be less problems in the world. Like if I don't know, if they do start disproportionately targeting certain demographics of people, that's going to be bad. But, if you get pulled over by this guy and he starts brutalizing you, you can just kind of throw him against the wall. And we probably don't want cops that have 6 guns, like my friend Six Shooter here, but they are tiny bullets, so I'm not sure what the exchange is. Maybe 6 tiny bullets equals 1 big bullet, and if he just fires one at a time, maybe, I don't know. But you never know with these guys. Throughout the course of the movies, like our friend Godzilla up here, sometimes he's the good guy, sometimes he's the bad guy. Sometimes they're killing good guys, sometimes they're killing bad guys, sometimes the best ones, they're out there killing Nazis. But, it really depends on who the puppet master is in all of the different movies. And, if you've got a bad puppet master, you've got some bad puppets. And, even amongst the puppets, if Blade here sees his pal Pinhead punch an innocent person in the ankle, Blades might not report that back to the puppet master because, they're buddies. And, maybe in their head, in their worldview, that person, like, even if that's against the rules, maybe they had it coming. That's what the puppets would say. And, Blade doesn't want to be a rat. And, but also if we had a puppet police force, like, again, Blade here, for example, he's only got certain tools. And when he comes upon a situation, he's going to try to fit it into that mindset. Like, he's got one hand that's a knife, and he's got one hand that's a hook. So if Officer Blade rolls up on the scene, whatever problem he sees is going to start to look more and more like either a fish to be hooked or a stick to be whittled with that knife. And, people aren't fish or sticks, and that's going to be hard to get through Blade's head if that's the culture of all the puppets that he hangs out with. And to be honest, if you have a system where a puppet can get away with doing bad things, and it has a whole backward set of incentives and consequences, it's going to attract the worst puppets. So whatever your good intentions or how good the puppet master is, if you pit a group of puppets against a population of people, that you know, those other people that are being, you know, policed by these puppets, like, I would never consider barfing leeches on somebody for selling loose cigarettes, but you know, if you have a puppet job where that's an option on the table, you know, Leech Woman's going to apply for that job, and she's going to do what she does. And you know, we can hope for good guys. We can hope that all the puppets are good guys. We can hope that the puppet master is an even better guy or girl. And but you know, some of us are out here arguing that giving anybody the power of using ancient Egyptian resurrection rites, it can't not corrupt the puppet master, and by extension all the puppets that are underneath him. So, you know, if Andre Toulon, the puppet master, shows up with a proposal for his puppet police force, I'm going to have some questions for him. And unless he can convince me that you know, I don't have to worry about getting leeches barfed on me for no reason, then, you know, I'm gonna go with somebody else and put whatever label on it you want. I just think that we should have more options. If we need to have some sort of police or security, then the more options on the table, the more likely that we're going to find a good one. And I just, I don't know, people understand the problems that come along with having a monopoly in the private sector, but for some reason, having a monopoly on legal violence, somehow that's okay for people. I don't think so. I don't think that's an option. So anyway, we need to hear out all of the options, including a puppet police force. That's an option. It might not be the best one, though. I think we can do better. Now, 2 weeks ago on the last show, I was worried about the direction this whole thing was going. You know, early days, a cop killed a guy who he shouldn't have killed, and everybody was pretty much on board with that. You know, somebody murdered another person in the street, and that's a terrible, terrible, violent act. And I was worried that if it turns into a conversation focused on racism, then that might lead to you know, it's kind of, I was worried that it was going to take the eyes off the prize, and instead of dealing with police brutality, it's just going to devolve into various non-police people on the internet arguing with each other and pointing fingers and bickering over who's racist and who's not, and what's racist and what isn't, and where it is and where it's not. And that's just going to lead to infighting and empty gestures for solutions. And that's kind of what's happening. And I'm a bit disappointed. I mean, if the conversation is Derek Chauvin, I think his name is, kneeled on a guy's neck for almost 9 minutes and killed him, that's a bad thing. Everybody's on board for that. But if he was racist and part of a racist system, I'm not saying that he wasn't and that the system isn't have some racism built into it, but if that's the conversation, that opens the doors to every bootlicking police lover on the internet to weigh in on why, well, you don't know that it's racist, it might not have been, and then it just becomes an argument about that. But if you're saying that it's bad for a person to put their knee on some other person's neck and kill them, that's a pretty tough thing to argue against. You know, if we found out that and they also talk about, like, Derek Chauvin worked at the same nightclub as George Floyd, so they might have had some beef, so that may be true, but that's another thing that people can say, well, it wasn't racism, they just didn't like each other. That leads to zero solutions. If we found out, which I doubt, that Derek Chauvin is just loves black people, just donates constantly to the NAACP and Black Lives Matter, And just, we find all kinds of pictures of him hugging black people. Even if he's not racist, what he did was bad. And that doesn't matter. George Floyd would have still died, even if there was some nice words in yellow paint in between his face and the asphalt. But anyway, let's get on with the fun show that we've got planned. Like I said, after the break, we'll come back and Brian and Arif and I are going to dissect 1989's Puppet Master 1. So stick around for that, and I hope you enjoy it.
No, that's alright.
Hey,
that's quite alright.
This is a professional podcast, and we forgot to
Hit
do
record.
the sound at the beginning.
It was all great.
The camera sound was going. It may have been salvageable, but
No, it's
this
not
is a
salvageable.
professional
You
radio
know what would have been
show.
more professional? Not telling people that you had to do that.
Brian, I don't think you are not the one to be doing the criticizing when it comes to like technical.
Guys, I need to introduce the segment for the second time.
Oh god.
So you go ahead and talk about your dead mother.
Welcome back to St. John Forward Radio, and we just saw Puppet Master from 1989. When I was a child, my dear mother used to go to the grocery store, Sobeys,
Trying to leave him there every
Stick him in the freezer section.
every Saturday.
He's like, "Go, hey, look, John, frozen pizzas." And she's like, "Arr."
Mama, can we watch Puppet Master? Burger John!
No, she, I think Puppet Master was her choice. And
I thought you guys would have
bonded.
bonded over pornography, but
No, that was posthumous.
Post hummus.
So anyway,
Almost to be.
we've got our mascot Blade here with us, who appears to be of higher quality than the one used in the actual movie.
Okay, if I may, from the back, he just looks like a chick at a punk show. Do you know what I mean? Like, right?
Yeah,
just look at it from the back.
White brim hat.
White brim hat, trench coat. and those-
he looks like someone would say "blessed be" a lot.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've obviously seen this movie many times. Brian, I assume you have seen it before, but probably not religiously.
No, more than once, yeah, but not like I haven't watched that Charles Band intro every Saturday morning like you have.
It's very important for the context.
Shut up! I'm watching the intro. Well, you know, I just made this movie when I was in 1989, and you know, it was in the original. The original format was actually with the widescreen, and then.
You know, TVs in those days.
John, I think I'm leaving you. Hey, shut up!
I need to know about aspect ratio.
No, I gotta listen.
So anyway, Arif, you've never seen this
No,
before,
I have not, no.
I assume. What's your what's
It's a very bad movie. It is not a good. It is a steaming pile of garbage. From the first frame on to the last, it sucks the whole way through. Like at some point you hope that you know the movie is going to have some semblance of like some sort of reality, but the whole time I'm just thinking of sort of Fat John, you know, on a couch. Just a young Fat John on a couch.
Just shirtless in his Chester Cheetah underwear.
Holding two puppets.
I never had the puppets until like high school.
But he's just like makeshift puppets, you know, like pretend dolls.
He's got like a pencil with like a Colgate cap on it.
That's right. Yeah. He's just got
This is Blades.
he's got an old fork. And he's just
He's got like two mittens on it. He's like, this is Pinhead.
these are my puppets. John, you're a failure. Shut up, mommy.
So do you remember much about this specific movie from when you've seen it before?
I
Do you remember the team of psychics?
I don't remember the team being quite like that. Like I didn't remember because the surrounding plot fucking stinks. But
Watch your language.
Jeez,
Sir.
come on. There are children listening.
No,
Please.
it's got the classic, like, assembling the team, like, montage where we meet each of the characters at the beginning.
Yes, exactly. But they're all just supremely mentally ill. They are the most annoying cast of superheroes.
Can we break down the team for a moment? First, we got the guy from Yale who looks like Dennis Miller if he was John.
No, I think he's...
Autistic Dennis Miller. So Dennis Miller.
I don't want to get off a rant here, but...
I was thinking that our handsome leading man was like if they crossbred Gary Shandling and Richard Simmons.
That's good. Yes. Yeah.
An odd choice for... Well, he is kind of a weirdo wet blanket, so I get... Do you think it's a good casting choice? He's a terrible character and you don't like him, but...
The whole movie...
Is he supposed to be likable?
He's just reading his lines off of cue cards. Like, he was explaining, like, the core of the plot, and he's like, well, you know, there was an ancient Egyptian magic, and Rob Pumpkin's back to life, and we're here to discover that magic.
Right. He is exactly the kind of lead. He's John as the lead character. If John was the lead character of the movie.
I don't have a flowing mullet like that.
Well, after that Richard Band intro, like, I can kind of see John's appeal to both him
Charles
and Richard
Band. Richard Band is the music.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Charles Band's exactly like him. Charles Band probably created this character to resemble him, and John's like, this is me. I really see myself in this.
Charles Band is the hustler of the Full Moon organization. I really think his contribution to this movie probably was just like, what if we had a puppet with a knife for one hand and a hook for another hand, and he's got little daggers in his eyes, and that's probably the.
It look real cool.
He's It wasn't covered in the intro that I made you guys watch, but I've heard him talk about usually these movies that he makes at Full Moon. He comes up with the poster first, and then tries to like sell it, and then if it goes well, then they make the movie.
Well, Castle Freak was made just because he bought a castle in Italy and wanted to just make movies there, so he told Stuart Gordon to just go nuts.
Yeah, I've seen that one once. I don't remember it being particularly memorable.
It's
supposed to be based on a Lovecraft story. I've read the Lovecraft story that bared very little resemblance.
It's just like a guy chained up in the basement who like rapes and murders, and like he gets let out.
Yeah,
that's the movie.
Yeah, we talked about some of the other Full Moon oeuvre. There's lots of tiny killer doll type things.
He's obsessed with tiny killer toys, probably because
Puppet Master was the most successful.
Yeah,
it's the whole company wouldn't exist if this wasn't such a blockbuster hit, as you can tell by having watched it.
It was demonic toys after that, and then dolls and.
Dolls. I think Full Moon was associated, but that seems like something that was made on the outside. Dolls, I think, has like not Perkins. That's the guy from Psycho. Hopkins, is it? Or no?
Is he in Dolls?
I'm thinking of the other one. There's one that Anthony Hopkins in where he has a ventriloquist dummy.
I just remember
It's called Magic.
I just remember the giant killer teddy bear at the beginning.
Yeah, Demonic Toys was pretty good. All these movies afterwards, like they get progressively lower budget, and this movie is big on recycling scenes. There's lots of like the stop motion stuff from this one that gets like reused in other movies.
Yeah.
So they'll be in a completely different location, but then they'll show the puppet creeping around in the hallways of that hotel.
Yeah. What did you think of the innovative puppet cam? Where it's just like going along like a foot off the ground.
And they just like tied it to a dog or something.
How stupid are these people where they don't recognize a giant puppet just walking around the hotel room?
This is just walking around on the ground, and you don't even see it in your peripheral vision.
What are these morons?
And just running through a busy parking lot.
My favorite part of this movie is how all of the female characters are just completely annoying as shit.
All of the male ones are too. I wouldn't make it.
No, but the women especially are repugnant. Even they are they.
The sex
I need to think of what kind of
what was going on with that experiment? They're like,
making are they doing
they
here?
had a woman tied up in like a bed.
So this is the second team. We talked. Well, the Gary Shandling / Richard Simmons. He's just like he has dreams about the future, and then we cut to
my dreams come true.
We cut to the pair. We've got the woman with the strong eyebrows and her sleazy husband / partner with a ponytail.
She always looks like she has two black eyes.
The movie is clearly made by a pervert because even the rape scene is completely unnecessary and it just has her one breast just sticking, just one big beautiful breast sticking out of the dress in what is supposed to be a really horrific scene.
Yeah, and like while she's like reliving it, like he's cupping her breast and he's like, "What do you see?"
he's just holding on to the one breast.
Holding the breast was during the when she has like a psychic connection to horniness or something. And he feels her up when she senses that Clark Gable and some other actress, I don't remember her
Lena
name,
Horne,
made a passionate night of love on this hotel.
Yeah, there's a lot of Freudian stuff. There's a lot of Madonna horror things going on over here.
What was his line? When we first meet them, they're in a lab and there's like a woman on a gurney.
Yeah, she's like tied up and he's like, "All right, now project your sexiest fantasy," and then she just literally puts her fingers through her temples and rubs them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
There's a lot of cupping up. There's a lot of guys just cupping the breasts of really annoying, screechy women.
Yeah,
you know?
Cupping breasts and like, I'm having a psychic
Through your
vision.
breast. Let me pinch your nipples. Yeah.
And then, I'm not sure what the point of the ponytail guy was. Seems like she's the psychic one, and all he does is
He's the science guy.
Ask her questions and feel her boobs.
He has the tape recorder he talks into, talking about psychic sexual implements.
Classic male scientist.
Well, he's
taking
the
credit for his more talented female counterpart.
Yeah, he was a scientist that also doubled as a Mexican repo man.
John's really playing to that college radio audience on this episode.
Yeah.
We've got to throw them a bone every now and then.
This is important, you know what I mean? These are treacherous times, and you guys haven't apologized once to me. It's really annoying, honestly.
I'm sorry about colonizing India.
But back to the horrific elevator rape. This throws back to...
It's quite hot, actually, the elevator.
This throws back to a time where, like, nobody even... I don't even think they thought of it as a horrific thing. They're like, we need some titties. So
yeah, how do we...
Let's just have a flashback to a rape that happened.
Was that guy, was he supposed to be the Gallagher guy, or was that just a random guy?
It was supposed to be him. So it also doubles as establishing that this character, who we've only seen in psychic visions and in a coffin, is a bad guy.
Yeah. Not a very good rapist, though, because all he does is just nuzzle his head against the neck of the woman he's raping while her breast is idly falling out.
Tears open the shirt, just one boob out.
Yeah, and he does nothing with the breast. Like, what kind of a rapist
He's just looking
is
to kiss some neck.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Let me get at that neck, baby.
Yeah.
It's progressive for 1989 in that when we come back to the present, she explains that somebody had been raped in there, that the guy didn't make some like corny like one-liner joke and wink at the camera.
No, he just went up to her and then started yanking on her breasts like as though he was trying to start a lawnmower.
I guess he was. I guess she was going down. Whoa.
Yeah. And then our third member of the X-Men was the Southern.
Oh wow! I do declare
her makes her living as like a sham psychic, but is somehow also a real psychic.
Yeah, that's
and believes her own
weird
bullshit
thing. Like, she's just making up stuff to the dumb couple, including Barbara Crampton. Your fave. She didn't show her boobs in this. She usually does.
I was very disappointed.
Which one was Barbara Crampton?
She was the one that's like, "Oh, you're gonna get a real job, honey."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With her, was her boyfriend like wearing a really bad mullet wig, or did he just have like his hair was like jagged and like?
Yeah, that was a wig.
Yeah, it was weird.
That to cover the top of his head. He probably was bald.
Just sitting there chewing gum the whole time, like, yeah.
So
I'm gonna be rich, baby.
Yeah, classic scamming fortune teller lady who's just like making stuff up, and then like, oh, did she have like a real psychic vision at the end of that reading?
Yeah, she was like envisioning the leeches or something like something happening in the hallway.
Right. So, I don't have an answer to this, but you guys, they don't really do a good job of explaining how all these people know each other and what kind of their dynamic is. They all know each other.
Well, she explains
they're
it. She's
psychics.
She's like,
they don't seem to like each other. Like, what was going on last time all these people got together?
There was an open mic for psychics, and they had to.
Or some people would call them magicians.
Yes,
yeah, this magician who is a professor at Yale.
Yeah, they were doing an open mic at a karaoke bar, and they just walked up and looked at all of the drunk French ladies.
The impetus for the movie is that the bad guy Gallagher just sends out like a psychic signal to all of his psychic friends to come to this hotel where Andre Toulon, the puppet master, killed himself.
Didn't the main guy explain it in his boring like card reading where he's like, well, Gallagher met us all and we had a psychic connection.
I think they all got together and they all kind of knew about this ancient Egyptian rite or something to reanimate puppets like they did back in ancient Egypt.
That's cultural appropriation to some degree.
I don't know why the guy that sees visions of the future has anything to do with reanimating the dead using an old Egyptian spell. I don't know what the sex psychic lady has to do with it.
He's the Professor X of all of the.
Yeah. The fortune teller.
Come to me, my X-Men.
The fortune teller. The fortune teller does it like she has this. A fortune teller tells the future, isn't that their deal? Which is the same thing as Gary Shandling can do with his dreams. Like, she doesn't really do anything other than she has like. So
she's got a chicken foot.
She's just an annoying, hippie chick. Do you know what I mean? Just walking around. Like, she might as well just be hula hooping, just talking about Mother Earth, and
rubbing a bloody chicken claw on your palm to protect you, which did not work.
Yeah. If she had a Facebook page, she would be like, nature is coming back.
Yeah, her X-Men power is she's really into crystals.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
She's definitely a yoga teacher.
Yeah, with a bad ass, dude. Like, not a good ass. Like, she's
I never noticed.
No, like, yoga people usually have nice asses, Although, no, I'd hit it, though. I'd hit that.
Would you?
The one in the movie? Yeah, I'd hit it, man. She had some nice breasts.
Yeah.
Because I can't say what I want to say. I can't say bazongas or tatas or whatever.
No, that would be offensive.
Hubba.
Yeah.
So they all come together because they assume Gallagher finally found the old puppet master's formula or something, and so they all come and he's dead, and then all right, we're gonna go to bed. One guy is going to, or the main handsome guy is just going to be frustrated at all the sex being had around him.
And he's just sitting there, like, just listening to the pounding going on while he's trying to get some sleep. Come on, guy.
This entire hotel's empty, but I had to get the one right next to you. Just my luck.
Yeah, they have an entire hotel, and they put the three psychics, like, in adjoining rooms, and they put like the ones that are having loud sex like right in the middle.
With the most rickety bed possible. That entire bed that has no stops. It might as well have just been on hardwood.
Just on wheels.
Yeah, could they not put a bed frame or anything?
Well, there was a bed. It was like one of those like old like plastic or metal tube bed frames.
And
usually those things are on a carpet. It doesn't make any sense at all, to be honest with you.
They were renovating the hotel.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Rounding out the cast is the boring cardboard cutout of the grieving widow that is really only there for exposition's sake and for like the main guy to want to rescue or something. Like usually when they set up in these movies like the damsel in distress, it's not. It's usually somebody that like the hero has like some kind of a connection to, but this is literally just I'm the bad guy and I'm going to hold my own wife hostage and be like, you can't stop me. Which
Okay,
my own wife that you're meeting for the first time in this psychic
I am
dream.
going to destroy her.
Well, I'm gonna go.
Go ahead, man.
I'll just see myself out.
Yeah, I don't have to stay here at all, man. Yeah, you go
You
ahead.
can't
and kill
save her. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go bang the fortune teller.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
just gonna go home. Actually, to be honest with you, there's too much action. I'm
And,
gonna go back to Yale.
Like they set it up that like he's like in love with this woman who married this horrible man, and then at the end like they don't even get together. They
He just takes a cab home.
They just have like a brother and sister like
He's a
awkward
gentleman.
hug,
Yes,
and then
exactly.
Station ID. Station ID. Station ID. Station I'm Adam Landry. Station ID. St. John's. I'm in the top 3 of comedians, okay? And I've been on Station ID.
it's called St. John Forward Radio.
St. John Forward Radio on this channel.
Local 107.3 FM.
Station ID.
Local 107.3 FM and
Station ID.
local 107.3 FM.
Station ID.
I see myself in this Yale professor. To be honest, do you guys see me as like a Yale sort of professorial type, sort of dignified?
Not a single bit.
What do you mean?
So like,
So
they're not horrified by the fact that there's like a table with corpses set up at the end of it either. Like he's like, "Oh, my cab's here. See you later. Bye."
Yeah.
Like all his
that's all been
friends
wrapped
died.
up. Oh, well, we understand that he shot himself and then reanimated himself somehow, and instead of just like shooting us in the head as soon as we walk in the door, he has to kill himself first, reanimate himself, let everybody get comfortable, and then have these tiny terrors running around and inefficiently killing them all.
There's a lot of holes in this plan.
Yeah.
All that to do.
I mean, the reason I think we are here right now is, honestly, Brian, it's for John to deal with his childhood. He is locked in this prison of this god-awful movie.
John,
and he cannot get out.
John,
This is
just
a-
say goodbye.
Brian, John is inside the cell and he's banging at the doors.
He's just
saying,
rattling the
"Boys,
keys, going,
let me out.
They,
Let
they,
me out."
they do get better. This one was necessary
No,
because it's
John,
the first
they
one.
don't get better.
Brian, the third one that takes place in Nazi Germany, it's better than this one.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't?
I've only seen the first one.
He's
okay.
so surprised. Like he's
like, what?
crushed.
The third
Are you
one,
kidding me?
The third one is the peak of the series, and then it's downhill from there.
Yeah. He is like, when in the Dark Knight Rises, when Christian Bale is at the bottom in the in the prison where everyone's screaming.
He's just trying to.
And he's trying, he's throwing the rope up and he just can't, We have to get him out of this prison of the puppet master. I don't know we need a Bane or something like that. He needs a Morgan Freeman to get him out of this prison. How are we gonna do it, Brian?
You merely adopted being a man-child. I was born into it. I was collecting toys before you were a boy.
So which one's your favorite puppet?
That would be the lady with the leeches, mainly because
her name is Leech Woman.
of course the leech whore.
You gotta call her by the right name. You gotta call her by the name. It's a leech woman. You can't leave it till you say it.
Mainly because the bald guy with the ponytail is so stupid that he can't tell the difference between his own broad he's having sex with.
First they're having sex, and then she just sticks her head underneath the bed
And holds it there
and,
while
and the guy
drill
with
puppet.
the hand-carved wooden drill for a head just runs towards her, and she just stays there with her mouth open, I guess, and he just drills through her face. And then a leech woman comes up, and she just starts like chewing on his hairy chest, and he's like, "Oh baby," he's tied up and he's blindfolded.
He can't tell the difference between a woman and a tiny
there's two
puppet.
like tiny
Wow, your hands
in
and face got really small.
a tiny mouth.
You must be
like,
connected to the other guy.
Oh, I like the pinhead puppet because he looked like John,
I liked it because it was like seeing John just get whipped against the wall every few minutes.
Oh, and it has a.
Can you put him directly beside your head? John, do you have a brown sweater you can get
Some
right
of these
quick?
have features that, like, I don't know what this is. This does not.
Oh
have
yeah,
it in
because
any
his
of the
head was when
movies.
his head was coming out.
That's,
Yeah, he took it completely out. but
that's exactly what happens to your body when you see the
also-
Charles Band intro.
I've lost the pieces, but this originally came with a bar that held onto these 2,000-pound weights, because he's like very strong.
Oh, so he's going. He needs to do his lifts to be strong.
Look at these shoulders.
He's got to
built.
stay swole.
Yeah, he's the swollest of the puppets.
That's what
He
he's
does
got
have a
the
good, nice
fingerless
body
gloves.
though. I like it.
Pinhead
I'm not a good-
fucks, man. Oh, sorry.
Come on, Brian, please.
Pinhead Friggs.
Pinhead has
Please.
sexual intercourse with
Come
women.
on.
I don't know if
Apologize.
Andre Toulon carved genitalia into these puppets.
I'm upset that the Italian man who was carefully crafting an Indian puppet and a Chinese puppet didn't
Actually,
get
that
to
was
make.
my favorite puppet. The Chinese puppet you never see again.
there
Just
is
sitting by the
a,
window, keeping lookout.
There is a much worse
I like the
puppet. Hang on.
Oh man.
in the Puppet Master.
Yeah, for one of the newer movies, which is, I think his name is Kamikaze. I don't know how to spell Kamikaze.
I mean, this is really upsetting.
Oh
that
yeah, there he is.
Oh my god.
Do a gong sound effect right here.
Yeah, that and this is this is
Look at the
from a
teeth.
movie that came out. This puppet was invented in the 2010s.
Look at the teeth.
That is not even a Japanese stereotype. They didn't even give him the chiclet teeth. They just gave him straight up rotten teeth.
All right, wait. November 2012. You can buy this on the Full Moon
That
website.
was a simpler time.
I like
Yeah,
it.
November 2012.
John, you should be buying that friggin' kamikaze puppet, man. They're gonna cancel those puppets pretty soon, man. You gotta stock up on them, man.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
one of
buy
the
it.
original ones. Like the two that I have that I bought
That's an
while I was
awesome
in
puppet.
high school. These are like of a higher, like he's wearing an actual sweater. The new ones. This is one that I've bought like a few years ago, and it's all like plastic.
That's Six Gun?
Yeah, he's introduced in the third one.
Man, this is a heavy puppet, dude. I mean, you mean that?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
there
this
was-
one's a like
there was a-
cheap quality.
there-
This one's a better.
You think John ever like closes this guy's hands and just sort of like
This was also the original one, but he's
that's like a
missing
Nazi guy?
the flames that come out of this, and his hand is broken off. His eyes light up red, but the battery's dead.
Let's see.
These are the two like original ones. They sold them in a toy store in Brunswick Square in the late '90s. I should have bought the whole set, but
Now that's that puppet. That's a keeper, man.
So what?
That's
So
a
what?
puppet
What
for
are your
Kamikaze.
favorite puppets that were in this movie? Or Leech Woman, Brian?
I'd probably Pinhead, actually, to be honest, or the guy with the drill for a head. 'Cause he had the exact same facial expression I had at all times.
Yeah, they. What I like about I don't know if you picked up on this, but like whenever they do like the puppet cam when it's from the puppet point of view, do you notice like none of them ever speak in any of the movies, but they've all got like distinctive like running around grunts. Yeah, like that stuff, and like Jester who like spins his head around. He does a little. He does a little. The 6-shooter guy, he doesn't come in until the third one. He just goes
What does Kamikaze say? He's like, oh, so.
I'm not sure. I think I've only seen Puppet
Oh,
Master
very,
Axis
very-
Rising one time.
This is honorable.
I don't think I own that one.
Yeah.
But
that joke is definitely gonna get you canceled. My joke, you can put it on me. It's POC on POC.
Yeah, no, it's okay that you did. They'll just blame us.
That's right. It's good. It's good. I'm your deflector, Ray.
You make it okay.
I think
That's
the
right.
average
You gave us
Japanese
permission.
person in North America is probably doing okay.
I think so. I think they're doing okay. I think as far as the
Or not.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know,
I mean,
systemic racism is terrible.
yeah, it's an important thing
You
to
know, and
address.
I wouldn't have thought so. But I saw a thing that JDI put out that said, they care
Yeah.
about racists.
Well, the Call of Duty is on the case. So Call of Duty is on the case.
Before I jump into an arena to kill 100 other people, it's nice to know that Black Lives Matter.
That's right. Yeah, Jesse Pinkman, he's on the case.
So I, for your own sakes, I think you should stick it out until part 3.
100%.
But
I
you're
am not.
you don't want to watch 2 more of these.
The
movies?
only way I'm watching it is if I can watch it with you, so I can make fun of it to your face. That is I am not going to sit in my home like a deranged person watching the puppet.
Daddy,
master.
what are you watching?
I'm doing
God.
research for my. Are you out of your mind? No.
I don't think there's any major canonical storytelling that happens in part 2, so we could skip right ahead to part 3.
Why didn't we just watch part 3 tonight? That's the one you clearly want to watch.
Part 3 is you need to see the first one. Like Friday the 13th, the first one is not the best movie.
He's trying to
you
put
have to watch that
us
one.
through the same torture of his childhood that his mother put him through.
He's trying to put us right at the bottom of that
Yeah.
prison in Southeast Asia.
He's taking us to the Sobeys back in 1995 or whenever the fuck.
Speak of the devil.
Sorry.
And,
So,
Hill of Prayer.
Would you recommend this movie to a friend?
No, I will not.
Would you admit
I will
to a
almost
friend that
certainly
you'd
not.
seen it?
No.
Brian, how many Puppet Master tattoos will you be getting? He gets
I like that you like
this
it.
little tiny face.
No, I'm
here.
totally getting a kamikaze tattoo. I'm gonna.
The kamikaze tag. Man, I will get that puppet. If you don't get it, I'm gonna definitely buy it. That is amazing.
I'm gonna get his bad teeth right on my chest.
I do like. I'm sincere about this. This is the only thing I'll be. I do like that you like it despite anything.
It's
anyone
silly. I
else
don't
says.
think it's a good movie.
No.
Did you find it boring? It is bad for sure.
Well,
I don't think
know.
it's
Boring. I mean,
boring is
Well,
not
you
the
don't
right
think
word for it.
anything's boring. That doesn't exist.
I mean, I enjoy the act of watching something with you because we're just watching it and I'm paying attention to it and I'm able to make fun of it. But yeah, I mean, that's
compared to the couple of trauma movies you've seen.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is also low budget. Which is more objectionable to you?
I think this is probably more competent than your average Trauma release, and
Yeah.
I like Trauma, but.
Yeah.
Trauma's a lot look over here! I've got titties and I'm bleeding out of my eyes!
Trauma leans into the campiness more than this does. This certainly is.
Yes.
But you can't say that it's completely serious. They know it's ridiculous, but it's also trying a little bit to be scary. I think unsuccessfully, but I don't know.
no, I do like that. No,
As far as 80s slasher type movies, it's a ridiculous monster, but the pacing and the structure of it is pretty standard.
I mean the fact that the the murder scenes or the kill scenes where a character is supposed to be mutilated, the lead up to it is just it feels like it's a half hour long. He's like, huh? What is it? What is it? Where are you? And they just say things like, where is it?
It's
Where
called
are
suspense.
you? But yeah, their version of suspense is
actually,
You know how, in The Exorcist, we're huh? What's that sound? Oh, what's going on in Reagan's room? Oh, I better go check Reagan's room. Oh, Reagan, what are you doing sitting up straight in bed?
Yeah, this
What do you
one,
say?
this one didn't have
good
very
writing or directing.
Or-
Yes.
This one,
acting.
It didn't have much gore.
Cinematography.
To it. You never see the
Location sucked.
most of the violence happens off screen, and then we just see the aftermath. Some of the other movies, I think they probably have a little bit more money. You actually see the drill thing going into somebody and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's what Daddy likes.
I think they
You just said.
Yeah.
they spent all of the money
That's
on
what
Leech
Daddy
Woman
likes.
just
Let me see that drill
barfing
thing.
turds out on people.
They barf. Oh, I thought. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are leeches, but it looks like a turd.
Yeah, it looks like she's got shit in her mouth.
To the movie's credit, that legitimately like
It's unsettling. Like,
Yeah.
and they put in
I
like
do not care for
they
that.
put in like the porno choking in it, like.
Oh yeah, because that's like that's like a penis. That's fellatio. Sorry, that's
It's reverse.
That's a sound you've never heard before.
No, what are you talking about? That's well, it's accurate. It's true, but I don't know why you have to say it like that.
It's so big.
You know, it's adequate. It's adequate. I've never heard any.
An odd choice because 2 movies later they explain that Leech Woman is actually the embodiment of Andre Toulon's dead wife.
No, that makes sense to me. That's. I've been married.
You know, my wife, she barfs up leeches. It makes sense.
It's always sucking everything out of me.
They
Will
do
to live, my life,
I think
my blood.
the movies. This one is weird because this feels like a weird horror/thriller movie that was already existing, and then they just kind of shoehorn the puppets into it.
Yeah.
The other ones are more built from the ground up, puppet centric. The second one, I don't really remember.
Also, they found this like script of boring like psychic police, and they decided, well, let's spice it up a bit.
Here's the thing.
There's a lot less. It's kind of like a Godzilla movie where they just pad it out with like boring human stuff because they don't have the budget to have like puppets the entire time.
Here's the thing I liked about Leech Woman. Leech Woman reminded me of every woman that I think is hot at one point on the internet, and then she tries to cancel a comedian that I love, and that's what she turns into.
Or every woman you meet at a bar and you're attracted to initially, and then they hear you talk.
Every woman who has heard 5 seconds of my comedy.
I thought she
woman
really
who's seen
liked
your
me,
stand-up.
and then she started biting my chest hairs and barfing leeches on me.
That's right.
So the lady that you met at the 5 and Dime.
That is correct.
Except she'd be barfing leeches and also calling you a paggy.
Oh, right, that woman. Oh, I forgot about
Trying
that.
to grab at your penis.
She needed the $20 from you so she could buy a bag of leeches to swallow and regurgitate back up.
That's what our interaction is. That's what our interaction was. I thought we were, just a beautiful couple having sex in a bedroom, in a nice hotel room, and then it turned into, her spitting leeches out on my face.
So do we?
While I'm tied up with a ponytail.
Yelling, "Are you a packy?" or something.
Are you a packy or something?
Let the record
need
show
$20.
that Arif is a person of color, not from Pakistan.
I am not a Pakistani.
I don't think that's a get out of jail free card on that.
What do you mean?
I don't know if we're allowed to say Paki.
I mean, I've said it like
Paki
3
means
times.
Pakistani. What is the problem here?
I think it's a racial slur.
John,
I
we
know
were
what it
telling a
stands
story. It was the racist lady that.
All right, we're
Indians
trying to
call
get
each other.
money out of him, that's
Indians say that to each other.
Okay.
As a slur. But it means.
No, I don't think it's an actual.
Wait a minute, are Indians racist?
We have the gold medal, my friend. we have the silver. I think to be honest, I think Chinese people have us beat. But I think next year, give us a couple of years, we have to train a little harder.
This is
get there.
This is a restructuring year.
We'll get there eventually. I mean, all of this, like, you guys, like, everyone's after, like, white guys now. It's crazy because we've been the champions for a long time. We've been the champions for, like, 50 years.
So you guys are like Clubber Lang, just sort of sitting in the back watching Rocky get all the accolades?
That is correct. That is correct. We've been watching.
Just Sanjeev just taking it on a speed bag. Just...
What do I call this stupid Russian bastard?
So,
I hate the Nigerians.
Yeah, baby, why don't you spend the night with a real
do we
man?
have
and I see
any
you're about
final
to
thoughts on Puppet Master before we wrap this up?
Your mom was wrong. You have a lot to offer, and this movie doesn't define who you are. You're a better person than this. And honestly, the movie needs more representation. Honestly, it needs a little bit.
Do you think if I get the whole collection of puppet toys that she'll love me?
100%.
I don't think she was ever
the
going
most-
to love you, actually, to be honest.
She loved you. She just didn't know how to say it, man.
And honestly, like, I think it's unfair for him to say that you have more to offer when really this is all you got.
It's not true.
Thank you for breaking down this important piece of film history. And,
What, you want to ask Brian?
Oh, right, yeah. Brian, you don't have thoughts about things.
No, I try not to. That was a real low blow there, Jonathan.
I'm sorry. Do you have any final thoughts?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so. Welcome back to the show. Winding down after recording the intro that you've presumably already watched. I went down to the Black Lives Matter St. John rally in King Square. I wasn't going to go. It was kind of a last-minute decision. I was a little bit put off by... there's a lot of dimwits posting on the Facebook group for the St. John Black Lives Matter, in the comments especially, and I don't feel terribly welcome in this movement because I think that we've got a lot in common, but I'm not exactly towing the party line on this whole thing, so I don't feel terribly welcome. And I also noticed an undercurrent in the Facebook group of people seemingly itching for a bit of conflict, whether it's with the police or some people seem to have their fingers crossed that some white supremacists were going to show up to counter protest, so they had somebody to fight. So I was not looking forward to any of that, and I didn't see any of that. I think twice there was some people that yelled out something that everybody got mad at. I'm not sure what it was. Or how big of a contingent of what it was. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I couldn't hear what they said. Ran into to my pal Shane Ogden down there. That's who I stood with. He asked me if my presence at this event confirms that I'm a filthy liberal, and I wouldn't call myself that, but if I'm picking between Team Cop or Team Filthy Liberal, I guess I've made my choice, but I wanted to go down and see it for myself. I didn't want to just read about it on the internet. I wanted to see what was happening. I wanted to learn more about what the whole thing was about. Just wanted to be a good white man and shut up and let somebody else speak and listen. And I am guilty a few times of when I get tired of the empty platitudes that somebody was saying, I would drift off into my own head and start mentally writing my own banger of a speech that I would give if anybody gave a shit what I had to say about any of this, and they don't. And I understand why. I went to Starbucks on the way home from the Black Lives Matter rally, so maybe I've got a bit more to learn myself. But I'm not big on empty platitudes and slogans and chants, and there was a lot of that on display. Particularly, the worst one, I think, was Don Darling, the mayor of St. John's speech. He just had absolutely nothing to say. It was all empty platitudes and patting everybody on the back for doing such a wonderful thing of showing up into a place all at the same time, which, great. But of all of us there, that's the guy that has the most power to actually do something. And based on what he had to say, I'm not expecting much out of that guy, beyond having some conversations and but not actually taking any action. So there's a lot of people. The focus was more on thinking right and having good ideas, but very, very, very little talk about actual actions and tangible things that we can do to make the world a better place. lots of talk of racism. Obviously, it's a Black Lives Matter rally. That's kind of their deal, and I'm on board with it. I don't think that's the best direction that this whole thing could take. But who am I to tell people that they're being mad in the wrong way? Because, but you know, my stance is I don't like, if there are, I'm sure there are, people that have less opportunity just because they are of a particular race or gender or orientation or have certain beliefs, and there are people standing in their way in between them and their goals, and they don't have the same opportunities as everybody else. I think that's a terrible thing, and I wish that it didn't happen. But if we could level the playing field and all of these different people in different categories all have the same opportunities, and they aren't being unfairly targeted for bad things to happen to them or unfairly cut out from good things happening to them, I think the world would be a better place if we could level that playing field. But even if we can level the playing field and make all of the citizens of the world equal, regardless of all those various categories that they might fall into, that would be great, but it's not enough. And my concern is that if we focus all on that, which is a good thing, but as long as we've got one particular class of people called the police who are allowed to do terrible things that none of us would get away with, they're more likely to do those terrible things because they consider themselves above the people that they're supposed to be protecting. And even if it's not based on race or any of the other things, as long as there's a group of people up higher than everybody else looking down on the people that are less than them, they're still going to be violent and there's still going to be problems in the world. And that's what I'm worried about. But, you know, mixed in with the empty platitudes and the slogans and the chants, there was this much discussion of, police accountability and major systemic change and tearing things down and reforming it in a better way. I'm all for that. I wish it was more than this much of it, but in the world that we live in, I'll take what I can get. And I'm not going to get mad at people for not being as against police brutality as I think they should be and getting sidetracked by all this other stuff. So whatever. I'll take what I can get. So I hope it all works out. I hope that this whole movement and this time that we're at now leads to a better world and just different from the bad things that are happening now. In my heart, my biggest worry is that they're not going to be successful. But I'm not going to take strong opposition to somebody because I think it's not going to work. I agree with mostly what they say. I just don't agree with the methods on how we fix it. But I'll take what I can get. So anyway, I'm glad that I went. I didn't stick around for the march down to City Hall. I didn't think there was going to be anything I could learn from that, and still the possibility that everybody's itching for a fight is going to find somebody to fight with, so didn't want to be a part of that. I hope it didn't happen, though. And again, I hope this all leads to a better world. If it does, I'm not going to complain about how we got there. So anyway, that's the show. Thanks for listening or watching. I've been John Forward. Look me up on johnforward.com if you want more. See you later.